Welcome to Queernecks, the podcast that puts the yeehaw in y'all means all. I'm your host, Beck.
And I am your host, Dash. Welcome to today's episode. I haven't been taking my ADHD meds because I'm in this treatment that I guess want to be at your natural state for. But boy, I am struggling to do basic things lately.
Yeah. Bless your heart. I mean that in the nice way, not the mean way.
You know, I noticed that a lot of people I think people outside Appalachia, one of the things they're most likely to know about is Bless Your Heart.
Right.
And I've encountered several people who think that it's only ever negative, that it doesn't get used to mean what you're actually saying.
It's a contronym. That's the word for that.
Yeah, right. Like in the same way that literally now means its opposite.
Right.
Thanks to millennials.
Or to dust means to put dust on or to take dust off.
Right. Literally does still mean literally though.
Yeah.
Bless your heart can still connote I feel for you. I'm hoping things get better for you.
Yeah.
I think that's something that happens when like a community that's not quite majority culture, parts of it seeps out into majority culture. I wonder how that happens. How do certain things get chosen to make it to the outside?
It's a lot of cultural appropriation, I think.
Yeah. It must have been of use to somebody at some point.
Right.
Because there's that capital piece. I think stand-up comedians are responsible for it. A lot of it. Because, figures of speech, those feature heavily in a lot of comedic storytelling.
Right. That's very true.
Where you grew up, did people say warsh?
Some people did, some didn't. The more common was Portsmouth instead of Portsmouth.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that was the same. Where I lived, some people said warsh and some people said wash.
Yeah. Some people call it Coke, some people call it pop.
But never Pepsi.
Never Pepsi. Nope.
My dad worked for Coke, and I still have his jacket that he wore driving around a delivery truck. So Coke was in Tennessee and Pepsi was Kentucky. So I think a lot of people don't know how many rivalries there were between Tennessee and Kentucky. And the Coke and Pepsi wars played out right there on the border. There was a Pepsi plant in Corbin, Kentucky.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they made Dr. Pepper there for the longest time, all through the 90s.
Oh. I read something today that Dr. Pepper ended their cooperation agreement with Coke, I think it is. So you're not going to see as much fountain Dr. Pepper.
Mm-mm. Maybe it'll go back to Pepsi.
Maybe.
Dr. Pepper's always been kind of a free agent.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things I learned about, like, I guess the economy of bottled beverages. And this goes for candy too. The way like parent companies and allegiances and stuff. There's this fascinating story about the Reese's Take 5 bar. It started out Hershey's, and this was only like maybe 6 years ago or something. That candy hasn't been around very long. And their marketing was just people hanging out in hip areas in like New York City or Los Angeles at 2 a.m. handing these candy bars out to people that looked like they had a lot of friends. Just like boots on the ground, actually promoting it that way.
Oh, wow. I love me a good Take 5.
Yeah, it's elite.
I like whatchamacallits too, though.
I've been on, since the summer, for me, like if I'm going to do a candy bar, it's probably going to be some sort of a Reese's thing. I love peanut butter, but peanut butter with chocolate is heavenly.
Right. One of my favorite candies are the jellied raspberry, they're chocolate-covered raspberry jellies that you can get from Trader Joe's. They are phenomenal.
I used to love, every Christmas, my grandparents on my dad's side would give us a box of Queen Anne's cordial cherries. We called them chocolate-covered cherries. We never called them cordial cherries.
Right.
Maybe it was just colloquial.
Yeah, we called them chocolate-covered cherries too.
Yeah.
My mom had a thing where she had a special gift for each one of the kids, and she would give them that thing every year for like Christmas and birthday. And for me, it was Russell Stover chocolate. My mom bought me probably 1,000 boxes of that stuff. And when she was passing away, I hadn't been down there for Christmas because of COVID. And there was still a box wrapped for me on the freezer waiting for me when I was there. And so the following Christmas, I was kinda sad because I wasn't gonna get my box of chocolates, and you just mourn things like that.
Mhm.
And I was at the post office, and the lady in front of me gave the lady at the behind the desk a box of Russell Stovers, and I was like, "Oh," I said, "My mom gave me a box every year, she just passed," and the lady was like, "Well, I think these belong to you."
Aw.
I sat in the parking lot and cried for, like, 10 minutes because my mom found a way to give me a box of candy that year anyway.
That's big feels.
It was.
That's what, my grandparents got my dad every Christmas was Russell Stovers.
Yeah.
And they also did cheese logs and summer sausage and cracker boxes, you know?
Got ya. Do you remember the Russell? Because Russell Stover's candies have changed over the years, they rotate out flavors sometimes.
Hmm.
They used to make these little, like, Butterfinger peanut butter bar things.
Like English toffee,
Yeah, they were so good.
they were the best thing in the box.
Yeah, for real,
Yeah.
they don't make them anymore,
I also liked the Russian roulette of it, you know?
right?
It said the box top had that little map on it that would tell you what it was, but I didn't know what those things meant.
Right?
So, I was like,
You're like, "What's a Roman nougat?"
yeah. So you just didn't know what you were gonna get when you got it. Like, you pick one out, and it could be the maple there was one that was just nobody wanted, and
Yeah,
it was a maple something. It was real, like, thick, and you couldn't chew it without hurting your jaw.
Shanna likes that one.
Well, she can have them.
Yeah. We basically we're opposites when it comes to Russell Stover. She likes the ones I don't like,
Mhm.
and I like the ones she doesn't like, so it works out perfectly. I like the creams,
Yeah.
like the apricot cream.
The orange one? Oh,
Yeah, that's the apricot cream. There's actually a Russell Stover's, factory and outlet store between here and Detroit. You could go in and buy, like, their mistakes and that kinda stuff. You can buy, like, all their regular stuff too, but where it's the factory outlet, you can buy all of the mislabeled and all that kinda stuff too.
there's an Albanese one too.
Oh, you like the gummy bear people?
Yeah, near there. For 1 semester there was a woman in our cohort, and she left just she decided that it wasn't really what she was wanting. But she knew that I liked gummies or that me and Eric, we were all into, candies and stuff, and so she brought us a 5-pound bag of Mutant gummy bears because they were from that plant and they were wrong, and they were, like, rejects.
Right? Factory reject baby monsters.
Yeah, so you could get a 5-pound bag of them for, a couple dollars if you went to that factory, and that was one of the funniest things anybody has ever given me. I was like, "You've seen through to my soul." It's perfect.
You see Peeta peeking up?
Nuh-uh. Oh, there she is.
She's just chilling.
Well, I hope this one chills out.
Winda shows her age, she sleeps all the time.
I mean, we probably will too when we reach a certain age.
Yeah, she's 14 now. I don't know her birthday, but I did when we got her, the only 2 things they knew about her was, and this is their verbiage, they said she was a 2011 model, and that the lady that had her at the rescue that I went to pulled her out of her cage herself. Like, she was the one that pulled her out of the cage, so she was living the cage life.
Hmm, poor baby. No wonder she was just having trouble getting with it when you got her.
Yeah. She figured it out, though.
My only association with indoor pets growing up was with my grandparents on my dad's side, who they were rich, and they always had a cat, and usually of the like expensive kind,
Right, yeah.
So they had a Persian for the longest time, and their cats were always also, like, crazy and mean, so they weren't any fun to be around, and so I kinda developed this association with indoor pets and unhappiness, right? Like, they seemed miserable to me, but then again, they were living with my grandmother.
Right. Only the demons lived with my grandmother.
Like, they would keep those things on life support, you know? Like, I mean, they would live 20-something years, but not in any kinda state.
Right.
Like the Persian one, and I get it, you paid what, $3,000 for this little 8-pound animal, but towards the end there, it had a hole in its side,
Oh, Lord.
and they, like, squirted the food into it because it couldn't digest anymore, which I never even heard of. It's like a feeding
Right?
tube, I guess, but manually operated.
Well, Lord.
Yeah. I mean, I love mine, but my god, you gotta let them go.
Yeah. That's a hard lesson that I have learned.
I know it's absolutely hard. I know I'm talking all big right now, and I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna need some support on the day it comes, but you will not catch me doing that shit.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
for sure. They tell you when it's time.
Yeah.
I've had 5 that I've had to go through that process with.
I was thinking the other day, this is morbid, but there was so many animals, running around the mountainside when we lived up there. And so when one needed to be killed, it was me that had to do it. So I was thinking like everybody's like criticized what's her name? This mean bitch that's going around with ice.
Chrissy Home.
Yeah, yeah. For shooting a puppy. And I have shot puppies and kittens and things because they were mangled by machinery or farm animals, like they would get stepped on and stuff, just put them out of their misery. And I was a real little kid doing it. But and I don't I'm sure there's there could be a difference between.
Yeah, 'cause she led that dog to the pit. There was no mangled in it. It was a healthy young dog.
Okay,
That's a
right.
total difference.
That is a very, very big difference. But I've met a lot of people since leaving where I grew up who can't imagine having to do that, and it's very normal to kill things where we're from. Like, not even, sometimes the slaughtering animals, like kids have to do that and stuff too, like slaughtering pigs. I never had to slaughter a pig, but I would have to put the strays out of their misery fairly often from a very young age.
My mom refused to eat chicken most of the time because of how many chickens she had to process as a kid. So I'm one of the people that couldn't imagine having to do it because Mark, my dad, he would do that if a dog was in a lot of pain or whatever the situation was. And when I had Gilly, I told him that I thought it was about Gilly's time, and he's like, "Well, just bring him down here and I'll shoot him." And I was like,
No,
as if no,
no.
absolutely not.
See, and that is not how I turned out, you know?
Yeah,
Like, for an aging animal, we go to the vet and we do things, we make them comfortable, you know?
they never took their dogs to the vet.
We never did either. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
I did not grow up with that orientation to pets.
yeah.
If it survived, and you could throw some scraps at it. Like, you didn't buy cat food. We did. Like, once we got older and started wanting to take care of them, we would get the cat food and throw it out there. But that also that created competition.
Raccoons and skunks
And
and
possums.
possums.
Yeah. So we would lose the kittens to them because they would eat the kittens. But I've met people who have said, I have a friend who said to me, I don't think anyone who's ever killed an animal can call themselves a good person. And I was like,
Aw,
that's a lot of people. And I know it's like, I don't even know if we want to call it privilege. It's just that's their experience. They've never been
right.
in an environment where something like that might need to be done.
Have they never eaten meat before?
No, this is a vegan.
Gotcha. But they probably did before they were vegan.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love vegans. They're sometimes good people, sometimes bad people.
This sounds like
Sometimes
the
good
begin
people
It sounds like somebody asked you about this at a political debate. You're like, "I love
yeah.
vegans. Some of my good friends."
Well, they are,
Yeah, I know. I know.
but we're carnivores, and we just are.
If someone has an ideal or a principle and they can make it work, then that's great. But I think it's less about like whether they're vegans or not. It's just I think there's a certain type of person, if something becomes important to them, it becomes their personality.
Yeah.
Because I know queer folks like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think about my best friend's mom, who was a physician, and she was a vegetarian most of her life, and she didn't get enough protein, and her doctors think that's what led to her dementia,
Mm.
or at least contributed to it.
And if this was a while ago, like, there wasn't a lot of, knowledge about how to like, we had this, like, buckshot approach to nutrition. Remember, a plate had to have the meat, the starch, or the carb, the green veggie, like, that was n no meal was complete unless it had all those things in it because that was our best shot at getting every nutrient we needed. Now, it's totally possible for a person to have a restrictive diet and still get all the nutrients they need with the information that's available, either on the internet
Right.
or from people who study this. Like it's their job to know this kind of thing. But yeah, a vegetarian or vegan 40 years ago was going to struggle to
Yeah.
meet their nutritional needs. I don't know. I know that there have been times in my life when I've been obsessed with something and it's annoyed people around me.
right? But that's the ADHD in us.
um, let's give this wheel a spin. There's
Okay.
very little left on it, listener. Well, have added a couple of things, but make sure to comment if you want us to add something to it. All right. Superstitions.
Superstitions. We always did the knock 3 times if knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
If you and a person are walking along and there's like a car that comes between you or whatever, you can't split. And if
Yep.
you do, you have to make 3 X's and say bread and butter, bread and butter, bread and butter.
We didn't do bread and butter, but we would cross our chests like this.
Yeah.
Um, or if you split a pole too, or
Yeah. Yeah.
if your ears are ringing or itching, somebody's talking about you.
Yep. If your hand is itching, you're going to get some money.
Yeah, I just almost said that one.
Well, it depends on which hand. One means you're going to get money and one means you're going to lose money. And I can never remember which is which. You throw salt over your shoulder if you spill it.
Did you have any good luck charms?
Whenever I took tests, I don't know when I started doing it, but like junior high, high school, I would draw a 4-leaf clover in the corner of any exam, and I would write 444, which meant 4 leaves, 4 luck for me, is what it meant.
Okay.
So that was my lucky number and my little luck symbol on every exam I took.
You
So,
know, I can find a 4-leaf clover pretty much anytime I want to
oh wow, that's amazing.
because they're everywhere. We just miss them. So any given 4-leaf or any given clover patch has a few. I mean, it's not like they're super common, but they're a mutation that happens, and some people can just see the pattern because it gets obscured into the larger thing. And so sometimes when I'm like, man, I could use some good luck, I'll go find a clover patch. And
That's awesome.
I don't know if I could always do it if there was if there was like a magic number of TBIs or acid trips that caused it, but I definitely only noticed it as I got older. I mean, I have obsessive compulsive disorder, so my superstitions don't make any sense to anybody. One time I drove over a recently departed raccoon. Somebody had hit it before I got there, but I think in my mind, it was still moving. I don't know if that's true, but it was certainly, at the end of its time here on Earth. And I had this intrusive thought that its soul floated up through the bottom of my car into me. And so for a few weeks, I thought I had a raccoon soul.
Is this also a result of acid trips or?
And I also knew that I didn't. I knew that that was fucking stupid. But OCD doesn't care. It doesn't care if it makes any
Right.
sense or if it's wrong or, you can demonstrably prove that there's no such thing as raccoon souls. But the problem is I couldn't. I was like, I can't prove that it didn't happen, so therefore it did.
That's hilarious.
I don't think my family was particularly superstitious, although, there was some religion. And religion is really just kind of superstition writ large over a large group of people.
I used to flip a lucky cigarette in every pack.
Oh, yeah, I did too. Well, you flip two, right? Remember what they're for?
No.
Uh-huh. One for good luck, one for a good fuck.
Oh, no, I never heard
That's
that.
what we did at EKU.
Yeah. No, I just flipped the one. And nobody really ever knew why you did it, just for luck.
Oh, if you go under a yellow light, you got to touch the roof of the car.
I would do a cross. Then there's paradiddles too, or padiddle, some people call it.
We said paradiddle.
Well, there you go. I wonder how many other pronunciations.
Listeners, do you have a version of paradiddle that you said? But what was it though? It was one headlight, wasn't it?
Mhm.
If it was one headlight, you say paradiddle.
It was a big paradiddle if you saw a semi with one headlight. And then when you go under the train trellis, like you have to pick your feet up off the floor.
And hold your breath through a tunnel.
Yep.
And a graveyard. If you're driving, you have to hold your breath through a graveyard.
Oh, I would die because I like stopping and looking at them. I've always liked a good graveyard, though.
I learned to drive in a graveyard.
Oh, nice.
Mom would, when we would go down to visit the graves, which I don't know if your people were like this, and I don't know how normal this is outside of Appalachia. Listeners, let us know. But you just visit the graves.
Yeah.
You just go visiting.
Did you do picnics on Decoration Day?
We didn't do a lot of like sitting down, really. I don't remember what we did because we were kids, so we were always just running around doing stuff. But the adults, They would, like, go and be at one graveside. It was usually, like, a married couple or something and stay there for a while. I don't know what they talked about. This is another one of those things, kinda like recipes that, like, our generation didn't get it handed down the way all the generations before did because
Right.
we moved away and we got different priorities.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know how to put together, like, flowers for Memorial Day or whatever. I've never been in charge of any of that for anybody. And so I love you, mom, but I'm not gonna decorate your grave because 'cause I'm too far away, you know? Like, what am I supposed to do? I did get her a pretty headstone though, so
That's nice.
yeah.
I think it was the 10-year anniversary of David dying. His favorite, Star Trek thing, alien was always well, the ships anyway, was always the Klingon, birds of prey. So I got a model and built it and put that on his gravestone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't even know if it's still there because I haven't been back to check and maybe somebody got it, maybe it got destroyed. And I think that's why I got the starship tattoo.
Yeah,
I just saw it, I was thinking about it, and I saw, like, a drawing, and I was like, "I want that." But
yeah.
people, they'll be like, "Which enterprise is that?" And I'm like, "I don't actually know. This is sentimental to me. Fuck off."
On my brother's gravestone, they put the Ohio State logo.
You told me that.
You just had to know my mom to understand some of the wild things that came out of there, out for that brain. My brother was a big Ohio State football fan, so therefore it should be on his headstone forever, I guess. Uh, and he's up in the family cemetery, which I didn't know, but it holds a lot of my birth family, my dad's family. Like, my great-grandparents are up in that cemetery, and I didn't know that. Like, I'm related to half the people in that cemetery, and so he got buried with my mamaw and papaw.
Mhm.
He's up there with them, but you have to have a 4x4 to get up, like, a four-wheel drive to get up that hill, and I just am not taking my car up that hill, so I don't know if I'll ever go back up there. It's just on family land, and it's not maintained, and it's really fallen into disrepair after the guy that used to do it died.
Ours is a family plot too. I don't know who maintains it, but it has always been accessible. It's on Bolin Strait, and it's the Bolin family plot, and so my dad's side is Bolin's. So that's where David's at. I don't God knows what's gonna happen to the rest of us. We got no plan.
Oh, I got a plan. It was the weirdest thing in the world, buying your own grave plot.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah, because the cemetery that I put my mom and dad at, we had to move my mom, and we had not buried my dad yet. We wanted to keep them together. So when we moved her to the cemetery, they asked us what kind of headstone we wanted, and it's traditional to put like a standing headstone. Well, this particular cemetery, if you want one plot, you have to get one of the ones that are flat to the ground, like a plaque. But if you
Mm,
if you want a standing headstone, you have to get at least 2 plots.
so you got a 2 for 1?
Yeah, basically.
A BOGO.
So yeah, but I also picked out my own headstone, which is weird.
Wow.
How do you pick a headstone that's appropriate both for your parents and for you and your wife?
I don't know. I might just close my eyes and point.
We put a black walnut tree on it.
That's nice. Were there funeral superstitions that y'all had?
I refuse to take pictures of dead people in the casket, though I did get a picture of mom. I took a picture of my nephew when she was in the background, but she's blurry, so I accepted that.
Mm.
But like, mom wanted me to take pictures of my brother, and I refused because I was, a professional photographer at the time, but I was like, absolutely not.
There was one in that we never actually did, but I knew about, sitting up with the dead.
Yeah,
Somebody has to be with them at all times until from the moment they die until you can get them into the ground.
yeah. And they used to have that at your house, which is why we have living rooms now, because there used to be basically death rooms, funeral parlor.
Yeah. There's a Ray Stevens song about it.
The weirdest thing, so when my dad died, so there's one funeral home in Lucasville. So we had everyone in my family has gone there. I've been to that place 100 times over the years, and I was there talking to the guy. His name's William, and he's like 80 years old, and the guy that owns the place. And I guess he has some dementia or something, because number one, he told me that he learned to smoke cigarettes from the darkies on his grandfather's plantation.
Wow.
And then he asked me who my family was, and I told him who my great grandmother was, and he said she made a beautiful corpse.
Jesus.
Like, what? That was all in one conversation too. Well, I guess. And then he asked me if I was related to her husband, and I was like, no. I was from her first husband. He was like, "She wasn't married before." I said, "She absolutely was." You know what I mean? Like, I think I know my grandma's history better than you do.
The state song of Kentucky, My Old Kentucky Home, it's a really beautiful song, one of the better, like, state songs, but up until it hasn't been long, maybe 40, 50 years, it had a lyric that had to be changed in it, and it
Oh, wow.
yeah, it must have been antebellum because there's a lyric that says, oh, shit, what is it? "'Tis summer, the fields are array," or something like that. And the original lyric was "'Tis summer, the D word are gay."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I learned that in high school, and I was like, "What? No wonder they changed it."
Yeah. Do you know what the state song of Ohio is?
No.
Hang on, Sloopy. Sloopy, hang on.
Do they play that at the games?
I don't know, but that literally is the state rock song of Ohio, so
Let's see. Time for a Dash's deep dive. Beautiful Ohio.
no, Google "Hang on, Sloopy, Ohio." It's the official rock song.
Yeah, it's the Ohio State, um, marching band. It's one of their classics.
That's not how I've read it over the oh, hell.
Yeah, it says how Sloopy became a Buckeye. Hang On Sloopy debuted in Ohio Stadium on October 9th, 1965, with a 156 member marching band.
Oh,
How Hang On Sloopy became Ohio's anthem. Yeah, it's Ohio State's halftime show. Interesting.
they are the best damn band in the land, they say.
Tennessee's is the Pride of the Southland Marching Band.
That's not very creative.
It's not. Tennessee is not creative, right? Like,
Right.
they don't have a mascot. That's why their end zones are that checkerboard pattern.
Oh,
They're called the Volunteers, and I don't know which war they're talking about. Which war is volunteer from? War of 1812. Okay.
oh, so recent.
Yeah, Tennessee earned the nickname Volunteer State because of its large number of citizen soldiers who volunteered for the War of 1812.
Did you know that when back in those days, if you were conscripted to go to war, you could just pay somebody else to go in your place? It was totally a thing.
It was very, like, aristocratic. Like,
Yeah.
that's a, nobility thing from the old country.
When I was doing the research for my master's thesis, there was a woman in Ohio, in Southern Ohio, who paid for 3 soldiers to go, on her dime.
Hmm, and you just had to do it?
Like, she did it on purpose to be patriotic, but you could do it because they can't conscript they didn't conscript like, bring women into the army back then, but she did it in place her husband was dead, and she did it in his place.
But did the people she sent have a choice? Did they did they
Yeah.
volunteer? Okay. Wouldn't it be fucked up if you could just go outside and go, "You're going to war."
That's kinda what they do anyway with
Ye
18-year-old boys
Yeah.
with selective service.
But, yeah, Tennessee's, mascot is the Volunteers, and so that's not a thing, so they don't have a mascot. So they have this dog that's cute, it's called Smokey, and
That's not original either.
no, this is what I'm telling you, like, the only thing they were ever good at was actually playing football. They were so fucking good at that for the first, like, 100 years that they existed, they didn't do anything else. And now they don't have it now they're not as good as they used to be, and so they don't have a brand.
Oh, I have some friends down there, the Marysville, Loudon area.
Loudon.
Yep.
What about weather superstitions?
Like the bird's nest, you see them up in the trees, and you can tell how bad of a winter it's gonna be. Or
Yeah,
like the leaves turn over, that you can see when it's gonna rain because the leaves turn over.
that's what my granny always said.
Yeah. I do that to this day.
She said that it's because they were begging for rain.
Yeah. You can always tell. It's true, though. You can always tell.
There was something about crickets. Don't kill a cricket when it's in the house because it's bad luck.
I think I remember that one too. It's bad luck to get a bird in the house.
If you had a wart, you'd cut a potato in half, rubbed it on the wart, then jump backwards 3 times.
And bury the potato.
Yeah, you gotta bury the potato, yeah.
Yeah.
There was another one with nickels, but I don't remember it.
What else is there?
There was so many superstitions around farming and planting too.
Oh, yeah. Especially with, like, the almanac,
Mhm.
that perpetuates a lot of that. I'm sure if I had asked because my grandmother and grandfather, they kept a garden up on the hill, so they were creatures of habit, and they would follow, like, they planted corn by the moon by moonlight for whatever reason, that was a thing that they did.
New Year's Day has a lot of, um
Oh, the dime and the cabbage.
yeah, and, like, you're not supposed to do any canning or gardening if you're on your period.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff with brooms too, like sleeping under somebody's feet, they won't get married.
Oh, I heard you're gonna be the next to get married,
Oh, okay.
which is why I won't let them sweep under my feet at the bingo. Because they come around and sweep out all the little tips and things that people drop all over the place, and I'm like, "Nope. I'll pick it up for you. Here you go. You ain't."
Oh, I there's one with pocket knives. It's it's bad luck, so don't close a pocket knife unless you're the one that opened it.
Yep, yep. We found so many pocket knives when we cleaned out my mom's house. Like, my dad have been obsessed with them. I think I told you about the World Trade Center one, didn't I?
Yeah,
Why he had that will, like, perplex me until my dying days, why he had that stupid thing. Probably somebody traded him for it or something, but why would you trade for something like that? That doesn't even make sense. And if somebody gave it to him, who gave it to him? The coolest thing I found, like, of just junk or whatever, was a kid's belt buckle. It had Mattel, it was from the '50s or '60s, and it had a, like, you know how the buckle comes out on a regular belt buckle? This one had a little gun, a little pistol that came out when you opened it up, and it had little snaps in it so you could pull the trigger and actually fire this belt buckle.
cool.
It was really neat.
Makes me think of cap guns.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was, the little tiny cap gun, but it looked like a revolver because it was like a cowboy thing. It was really neat. I found a live grenade when I was cleaning out their house from the Korean War. My grandfather brought it home with him.
It is a wonder that some of us are still kicking
Yeah. My cousin was mad that I got rid of it. I was like, "You're mad that I got rid of a grenade from
up a
1950
bomb.
whatever." Yeah. He was crazy. I was like, "Yeah, I got rid of it. I don't care if you're mad." I wasn't gonna live in a house with a grenade from, that far, but if I had known it was been there for that long, I probably never would have set foot in the place. It's dangerous.
I knew so many people growing up who were, like, missing fingers. Like, it was just really common for men who worked in any kind of physical job to just not have all their fingers.
My dad had half a thumb from an ironworker incident.
And I'm just thinking now it's been a long time since I've seen somebody without all their fingers.
Yeah. At my dad's funeral, I did I wanna say epilogue, but that's not the right thing.
Elegy?
Yes, thank you. I could not come up with that word. I think I'm on a medicine that's been frying my brain, like, I just lose words middle of conversations. Anyway, I gave the elegy at his funeral, and I made a joke, and I said, "I think he'd give it 1.5 thumbs up." If you can't laugh at your dad's funeral, when can you laugh, really? That's just who I am as a person, folks. My nephew, Jacob, made me almost cry laugh at my mom's funeral. Like, he was so Jacob is autistic, that's what you have to know about Jacob, and he has echolalia, and he will memorize YouTube videos and play them frontwards and backwards and fast and slow, and he's obsessed with his iPad and YouTube videos, and his echolalia means he will repeat the things that he learns in those videos, that's how he communicates a lot. And so, he was standing there and, he just kinda started giggling. He had his iPad up to his face. And when he turned it around, it was Will Smith's teeth, but they were, like, so zoomed in.
Why?
Of all of the things in the world.
Did he do the zooming or did he find a
He
video that
did.
had
Yeah,
zoomed?
no, he did the zooming. No, he did the zooming.
Did you
He's
ever
the
ask him?
funniest person I know. No, he's hard to ask a lot of questions from too.
Yeah.
Um, but he's got the best comedic timing. He is the funniest person I know, I swear to God. He's hilarious.
Dude.
And then after mom's funeral, we kinda had the little thing and we were all kinda just standing there, and he grabbed a mic because he did the Pledge of Allegiance at his graduation he graduated in 2020 from high school, so literally the pandemic, he was in that class that graduated during the pandemic. And so they basically recorded it, yeah, every one of them coming in, and then they would leave, and then they'd record the next one. Anyway, Jake did the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of it, so he knew how to use a microphone. And he went over and said, "We love you, Mama. You will be missed."
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Jake's awesome.
He sounds like it. Yes, Ziggy. I fed you dinner, so I don't know what they want. You want to say something?
I miss having a cat so much.
Mine are famous in my grippy sock school. They photobomb all the time.
Yeah.
They're learning a lot about emotional regulation.
Well, good cats especially need that.
Oh, well, maybe let's hear a word from our sponsor. Now seems like a good time. This week's episode of Queernecks is sponsored by Fall, or Autumn if you're fancy. It's officially fall, the queerest season. Heavy sweaters, knee-high socks, Mariah Carey yawns and stretches her wings somewhere in the distance like a pop culture archangel sensing the first faint tremor of a royalty check. Halloween, our gay Christmas, has come and gone. The fake blood's drying, the wigs are half detangled, and the glitter's still in places no vacuum can reach. We danced with ghosts, flirted with devils, and remembered what freedom tastes like when it's spiked with cider. But now the air's gone colder, and we can hear it faintly, the jingle bells. The horror movie known as Family Holiday Season is slowly emerging from the fog. Soon every store will be playing that song, you know the one, the Mariah one. She's coming and she cannot be stopped. That's why fall is sacred, among other things. It's our buffer zone, our intermission between camp and chaos. The season when the queer community shines brightest, when we gather, layer up, and take care of each other while pretending to be fine about the time change. We make soup like it's a love language. We swap sweaters and trauma in equal measure. We remind each other that found family isn't just a phrase. It's a survival strategy with good lighting and matching mugs. So light your candles, text your coven, and pull your flannel tight, because fall belongs to us. The soft, the strange, the ones who know that chosen family is the coziest blanket of all. This episode is sponsored by Fall, the sweatered sanctuary before Mariah rises again.
That's great.
I saw her I think it was her account, a TikTok of her like opening the door and you could hear the sound of
I
sleigh
saw it
bells.
too. Yeah. And she said, "Not
Not yet.
yet."
Yeah. I love she's in on the joke. She is
Yeah.
a fucking queen. She's an ice princess though.
Yeah. She was epic on Cribs.
Oh, I never watched that show, but I was really obsessed with her from a young age.
If you ever want a good laugh, watch her Cribs episode. It's fantastic.
Okay. I don't know what bar it was, but recently there was a show, a drag show, like intimate one, not some big like lots of famous queens were there or whatever. And so nobody knows what possessed her, but she showed up at a drag show somewhere, I'm sure in LA or something, Palm Springs maybe, decked out in the trans flag with the letters "Protect the Dolls" on her back of it. I think she had a jeans jacket, sequined, but in the pattern of the trans flag. She sang a little song and did a little performance and then evaporated. It's just like she just appeared out of the ether to say, "And another thing." And it was so Mariah to me. Like, I was
Right?
like, that is diva behavior. That's how that's done. Spread this far and wide. Let them know that I said I'm going back to my house.
Yeah. I may look a little butch, but I will still have a Mariah Carey break it down moment. I will still sing, especially her early stuff from the 90s. I
Emotions,
still
that
like,
album.
oh, yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yes.
And the Dream Lover album, the Always
Yeah,
Be My Baby. Yeah, for
fucking
real.
love it. I'm not kidding. I was obsessed with her. I would sing all of her songs. I would go into there was this old trailer that we did live in for a while, and my dad and all of his musician friends gutted it and built soundproof booths in it and turned it into a recording studio. He put like a
Nice.
little it was like a 16 track at first, but he eventually leveled up to a 48 track, and he made booths and he put little like windows in so you could, just like like a real recording studio, but inside this like 1950s trailer. I think my dad might be autistic. Just now I realized.
Well, the ADHD came from somewhere, my friend.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was like one of the coolest things we had as kids was going over there because there was always instruments around. He eventually got like a full drum kit, and he would just piece this stuff together as he found deals on it or save up money for it or something like that, or trade for it. And so there was always, he brought back from Korea, he was stationed in Korea, he found like some nice guitars, like Gibson guitars for 25 bucks, and he brought them back to America.
Wow.
Yeah, like had like we just had this awesome playground over there. And so I would go over and would put in my Mariah tape. Baby, I would become her. It's she just does something to you, right? Like she's not a
Yep.
gender, right? Mariah is she's drag, right? Everybody talks about Chapel Roan is drag and stuff like that, and I totally agree. We all agree, right? Chapel Roan is incredible, but Mariah was doing it too, and she was doing it as a mixed race woman with a kind of an unconventional approach to vocals. Like all of that stuff she was doing, that was not a thing.
Right. Yeah, I love me some Mariah. She will forever be in my heart. I have so many exams to grade, it's kind of overwhelming. I gave all 4 of my classes exams this past week, and I'm just
And it's midterm, right?
yeah,
So you got to
so,
do it again in 4 weeks.
yeah, pretty much. Well, my ethnic studies class, I give an exam 4 times in the semester because that's what the standard syllabus did. That's too many tests in my opinion for 1 semester, but I followed the original syllabus kinda just because I hadn't taught it before. I might change that up next semester.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but my women's studies, I give a midterm and a final, and that's pretty much it. I think 3 is the magic number because just a midterm, you've already covered 9 weeks of information and you gotta go back and start from the beginning when you study. So I think
Yeah.
3 exams in a semester is ideal. I just don't wanna
Mhm.
write a 3rd one or reimagine my syllabus.
I don't know if people know how much work making a test is.
Oh, but it's harder than taking the test. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Because not only do you have to write the questions, you have to tease out whether it's too hard of an exam or whether it's too easy of an exam. You have to gauge whether, your students are gonna be able to if everybody gets an A, it's too easy. If everybody gets an F, it's too hard. There should be some happy middle ground there, and it takes some practice to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I hated it. And that's what I preferred assigning essays, but you kind of have to be cognizant of essays are extremely difficult for some people,
Yeah,
not just because they're bad writers, but because it's stressful and they have anxiety around it. And you're not actually on a level playing field when you're assigning everybody an essay as their only grade in the class. Because some people are going to find that super easy, and some people that's going to wreck their whole semester. But when I taught writing, that was the only thing we had. That was the only grade. Like I
yeah.
would create things that I could get them extra credit because, well, I mean, we know for a fact, even back then, that was 15 years ago, kids were not being taught how to read or write in high school. Now they're not being taught at all.
What do you mean?
Do you know how they teach reading now?
No, I don't.
It's kind of it's like guessing. So they write a word up on the board or whatever and cover up parts of it, and they have to guess what's behind the hand. No sounding out, no context clues. So Gen Alpha is not being taught to read really, and they're not covered up in opportunities to grow that muscle themselves because reading is just not a part of the environment anymore.
Right? Unless it's in 10-second bursts on the internet.
There's a real issue right now with folks fully not being able to read more than a paragraph, if at all.
Right.
Because reading, I think we used to take it for granted that most people simply taught themselves to read. I don't know about most people. Some people taught themselves to read, and others were in that happy middle of what we set the lessons to be like. So we were able to capture most people. Like we were riding a really high tide of literacy in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s. And we didn't pay attention to how we got there. We didn't critically think about what was happening to the environment as we changed technology. And I actually wrote a prelim about this and for my master's thesis, like one of my comps exams, I did on this because I was like, we're missing something big about literacy. And this here we are now.
Right?
So the next generation you get in your classroom, I swear in just 4 short years, you're gonna get some illiterate fucks. But even when I was teaching writing, I was like, "Okay, so college has now become the new high school for learning about writing." because they didn't know what a 5-paragraph essay was. They didn't know how to even think about what a source should be. This has gotten real pedagogy. We're just talking. Oh, listeners, this is what happens when academics get together and remember that life is awful.
I was complaining to my students today, and I said, "Are any of you gonna be teachers?" And one girl raised her hand. I said, "Be prepared for grading to ruin your life." And she laughed at me.
Well, let's hear something happy then before we have to go back to our dreary lives. And tell me about a noun of Appalachian interest.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Today's noun of Appalachian interest is the dollar store triangle. Now, if you're from here, you already know the place I'm talking about. It's that weird stretch of town where a Dollar Tree, a Dollar General, and a Family Dollar sit within sight of each other, like three cryptids guarding the same parking lot. No one knows how it happens. Some say they just grow there, sprouting up naturally anywhere two interstates cross and the rent drops below $8 a square foot. Others believe it's one store, just vibrating at three different price points. You walk in for one thing, like paper plates, and you walk out 3 hours later with glitter pumpkins, a pair of reading glasses, a Bible highlighter, and an off brand energy drink called Bootsy. You can't explain it, you just accept it. And you always forget the paper plates. Each corner of the triangle has its own energy. The Dollar Tree is the land of false hope. Everything's $1.25 and you feel thrifty until you realize you bought 12 tiny bottles of ranch dressing. The Dollar General is the chaotic good of the bunch. One light on, one cashier, and a line of folks holding antifreeze, Christmas lights, and milk. The Family Dollar is the moody middle child, smells faintly of mop water and nostalgia, like if regret had its own fragrance line. Those brave enough to do all three in one trip report dizziness, static cling, and an irresistible urge to buy holiday dish towels. Anthropologists have tried to map it, but GPS just gives up and says, you're near a Save-A-Lot. Because if you've got the triangle, you've also got a Save-A-Lot in your town. Locals swear the triangle runs on rules that no outsider understands. The carts are born with one squeaky wheel, two if Mercury's in retrograde, and the seasonal aisle molts hourly. You'll swear you saw St. Patrick's hat next to the pool noodles 5 minutes ago, but now it's Easter grass and 4th of July sparklers and nobody remembers the in-between. The as seen on TV end cap isn't an end cap at all, it's a portal. Do not make eye contact with the bacon bowl. People call out into the fluorescent air like to answer them. Do y'all take Apple Pay? Price check on the mystery candles. Where are the batteries? The batteries are both everywhere and nowhere, which is part of the triangle's charm. So if you ever find yourself standing at a crossroad of cheap plastic bins and seasonal despair, congratulations, you've entered the dollar store triangle. There is only one safe exit strategy. When you realize inevitably that you have forgotten the paper plates, you do not turn back. That way lies madness and 3 more scented candles. You wave to the cashier, promise you'll be right back, and begin a new life across the street at the Save-A-Lot. May your dollar store batteries be surprisingly strong, your dish towels unexpectedly absorbent, and your Bootsy only moderately alarming. Amen.
That was a good one.
Thank you. I had fun writing that one.
They're near, there's always a Subway nearby too.
Yep, these are all things Lucasville has. A Save-A-Lot, all $3 stores at a Subway. We also got a Wendy's, and the day we moved out, they opened the Taco Bell. So I didn't get to experience the Taco Bell in Lucasville, but there is one now.
Well, that might have saved your life.
Yeah, for real. But there is a Taco Bell where I live now, so it's chili cheese
Oh,
burrito time sometimes.
I have not seen a Taco Bell in a long time.
Oh,
Well, there's not any fast food restaurants in this town, but if I drive for half an hour in just about any direction, I might find something.
nice. The little town that I live in, there's a smattering of things. There's a McDonald's and a Taco Bell on one end of town, and there's a little diner that only stays open till 2 in the afternoon. And then there's a Mexican restaurant downtown, and I think like an Irish tavern kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's just, and then over on the other side of town, there's a Mexican place and a Chinese place and a Big B coffee. So for my little town, it's got quite a lot of little stuff.
hmm
I eat their Mexican food all the time.
Everything here has got a for sale sign in the window, which is alarming to me because there's only one of everything. So, like, the grocery store has a for sale sign in the window.
Oh, wow. Who just buys a grocery store?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they waiting on Daddy Warbucks to roll by? Like, is that their only strategy for selling that thing? Because I've never seen that in my
Right?
life, right? A grocery
Yeah.
store with a for sale sign in the window.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's gonna be driving by and go, I've always wanted to own a grocery store in the middle of nowhere. I have a dream to sell $10 boxes of cereal.
Is it like a family grocery store or is it
Yeah.
a chain?
It's a little market that is run out of a generic building, and I'm sure it's family owned because it's not affiliated with anything, and there's not a store brand of anything, and I don't know where they get their shit, but some of it is brands I have never heard of. A lot of
Huh,
it doesn't have quite this as much of, like, fell off the back of a truck feel as the grocery store in Morris that I like to go to. But, I like to go there because most of it did fall off the back of a truck, so it's cheap as fuck.
right? Have you ever watched The Middle, that TV show?
Uh-uh.
Oh, they have a grocery store called the Frugal Hoosier, the Frugal Hoosier, and,
That's
like
hard to say.
yeah, but that show is really good. You should watch it if you like sitcoms and need a half hour one to laugh at. We watched it that was one of those ones we watched when we went to sleep, and now I've watched the whole series, like, 6 times through. But, yeah, that's what that made me think of, The Frugal Hoosier.
Well, my back's hurting, so maybe let's go.
Alright, homie.
Well, listeners, we hope you had a safe and fun Halloween. If you hung out with us, thank you. And, if you did something illegal, don't tell anybody about it because Halloween is a loophole, so it didn't actually happen.
Exactly. Neither the calories from the candy don't count either.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's all one big black hole and it don't count. But thanks for listening. Let us know if you have something you want to put on the wheel of what have you. You can comment on Spotify or on YouTube. You can send us an email at mailbag@queernecks.com. Or you can just send us a message on Facebook and say, hey, and tell us a superstition from where you're from. Did your mom or your granny or your papa or your weird cousin from down the holler ever have any weird hangups that come to mind?
That's a broad statement.
Isn't it? We'll see you next time. Say hi to your mom and them.
Bye.